Let's go over in the other team's dressing room, Barcelona. Look, I said, if I'm Xavi, I live with it. I've had a rash of injuries. I put in a good performance.
Yeah.
Am I happy that I lost a Clasico? No, because nobody better than Xavi probably understands the importance of a Clasico. But equally, you leave with your heads held high.
I think so.
I'm not sure Gundogan felt that way.
Definitely not.
He came out after the game and he said they should have been. Well, you've got the exact quote.
He
Should have been
said
angrier.
in the dressing room, he saw some disappointed people and players, but he wanted more anger, more disappointment. He was not happy. He said, "I've got a problem with this." So I don't know how much anger, and I don't know how much disappointment would you want them to. Do you want to see Gavi crying? Do you want to see Fermin crying? Would you want them to hit the wall with, hit the door with their feet and, I don't know, breaking everything? What does that even mean? Was he not happy with the kind of the mentality in the dressing room after the game to almost accept the defeat? That's not what the feeling I got from the post-match interview that I saw on ESPN or on French television about Ter Stegen looked really, really angry and disappointed. Same with Gavi. So I'm not really sure what he means, but he's been there 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Really 5 minutes.
I think he's been there 5 minutes,
Clasico.
and he says, "Okay, we need a veteran leader on this team. Frankie De Jong can be that veteran leader, but obviously, he's unavailable.
Yeah,
I'm sure Gavi will be one day,
of course.
So look, I won the treble last year. I've been around Pep Guardiola. I've been around all these very successful teams.
Yeah.
So this is how maybe he thinks that this is his way of showing leadership. I'm not sure it struck the right tone from the vibes that they were getting. There's nothing wrong in saying, guys, we were beaten in these circumstances. We outplayed them for a long time. This is not Barcelona when we have 5 starters out.
Yeah.
It's a different team. I'm sorry. It just really is.
Yeah.
With all the love in the world for Christensen and Inigo Martinez and even Ferran Torres, it's just different.
Yeah.
Right? So let's accept that. Let's be proud of what the guys who went on the pitch did, most of them. And we're 4 points back. And let's stay at them.
No, last season they lost the first Clasico and they still won La Liga. So it's not because you lose this game in October, even if it's in your own stadium, in your substitute stadium, that you have to worry or anything like that. Because as you said, at times we saw them a bit underwhelming in the last few weeks. This game was very good tactically, technically, collectively for an hour. And then, after an hour, you can't ask Gavi to follow Bellingham everywhere for 90 minutes. As good as Gavi is, there's a point where you're going to be half a second late than you were in the first hour. And then that's part of the reason. The clearance that, again, we don't have to go back on that first goal, but it's also because at this time, Gavi is probably shattered of having done all the running, all the commanding, all the bossing. And then he lacks a little bit of that kind of lucidity, and then the ball goes on to Bellingham, who scores that goal. But
maybe
there was a lot of positives.
Oriol Romeo sooner?
Yeah, and actually it's a good point you make me think of that. The second goal. Okay, I've got no issue with Oriol Romeo, who's a La Masia kid, left because he was not good enough to play for Barcelona, especially in those years, came back to help out, fair enough, but he's not good enough to play for that team, especially not in the Clasico. How? But that's fine, okay? Your job for 5-10 minutes that he was on, something like that, was to don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake, okay? For him to lose the marking of Jude Bellingham on the second goal like he does, which is like, I'm running with him, I'm running, I stop running, Jude continues running. And Jude is lucky because nobody could have thought of all people that Modric would miss his first touch and that he would transform into an assist for Bellingham, right? But Romeo, this is unacceptable for him to just lose his player like this, let him run. Even if you think, okay, Modric has the ball or I need to do something. No, he's been on for 5 minutes and he makes that mistake in that moment of the game. It's just not good enough.
I take your point. I do think, though, that I think Oriol Romeo will be needed in a big way the rest of the way this season, even with other people. I don't need to see Gavi in that role. I don't like Gundogan in that role. Who knows when Frankie's coming back? All these things together to me suggest that, I think, he can be angry for that. Yeah. That's fair enough. But to me, one of the most fascinating things, and I'll just leave you with this about Xavi, hasn't been, with all due respect to the work he did in Qatar, he has not been in this environment as a decision maker for very long. Yeah. And the way he's reinvented on the fly these tactical formations that kind of work, I I think is hugely impressive. And I'll be really curious to see how he puts all the pieces together when everybody's fit again.